Welcome back. So we're going to tinker with the engine. Now, I usually do the engine stuff first just because I want to know if it's going to run, but I've discovered with the Hondas I can generally make them run. So usually I do the motor first before I do all of the fun make it look good stuff, but I did do a little bit of exploration on this guy. And it seems like the timing was off, like maybe the cam chain jumped and maybe bent the exhaust valve is what usually happens. And I don't remember if it had spark. We pulled the valve covers off and we looked at the cam chain, but that's as far as we got. So at this point, I'm thinking we're gonna pull this cover off so we can clean it up, put some fresh paint on it, might pull this cover off. But definitely we're going to take all this off. Bare minimum on the top end, we're going to do a hone and rings for the cylinder and piston. We'll check the valves, make sure they're not bent, lap them in real good, clean up internally, clean out externally, make it look good, and make a list of parts we're going to need. Pretty sure the carb I got is not salvageable, but we'll make a list of engine parts and get parts coming. Let's dig in. So I'm going to start with this cover, and there's a tool I want to show you. If you've never seen this, this is one of the most handy tools I've got. This is called an impact driver. Has a couple of bits. I don't know, probably end up using the bigger one. I'll get both of the Phillips bits out. Now, a lot of people don't realize this. It's becoming more common knowledge, but these screws are not Phillips. They're JIS, and I can't remember what that stands for, Japan Industry Standard or something like that. And if you use a Phillips head screwdriver on these screws, it's almost 100% guaranteed to strip them out. The trick then becomes we use a Phillips in an impact driver. Okay, and if you have a screw that's a little stripped like this guy is, you can tap it in like that, and it gives you a nice good fit, and then you can use the impact driver. So this has got a big spring in it, and the way it works is when you hammer on this, it pushes down and twists at the same time. So it's actually releasing the pressure. Like the bolt, the head of the screw is clamping, so it's being stretched. So when you're hammering on it, you're releasing that stretch pressure, and it gives it a chance to twist it while it's loose. And you can set it to loosen or tighten you just by pushing, twisting. So we want to make sure we're on loosen. I'm going to slip that on there. And I'm gonna just gentle pressure on loosen, and we're gonna smack it a couple times. Make sure your skin isn't hanging on the top. Great way to get blood blisters, okay? And just like that, that screw is loose. Didn't take hardly anything. So there's one. Oh goody. Check this out. So that, you can see that screw's pretty done for. We'll be getting new screws. Definitely getting new screws because of this bottom one is, I don't know if that screwdriver's gonna work. I'm gonna have to get the right screwdrivers I left upstairs fixing the washing machine, but I don't know if you can see that or not. It's got a, oh, it's bent too. Might have to get a pair of pliers on that and pull that out. Let's pull this off. I'll go grab my tools. We'll undo that. And then I'm gonna start taking the top end apart here, and then we'll give you an update. So we got the top end pulled off. It actually doesn't look too bad. Managed to break the tip of that ring off, trying to get it out. You can see a little bit of glaze. We can see it in the light here. Yeah, you can see it there. You can tell it sat in one spot for many, many years, long enough to put a little rust ring around it, but it does not look like the valves hit the piston. Normally there's a little chunk out of the carbon buildup on both the piston and the valve, but we'll double check them. Oh, that one little spot right there. No, it doesn't look like it clunked. So, and the piston actually looks pretty decent. So I did check, it does have spark. We're still probably going to get a new condenser and set of points. I got to figure out a place I can borrow a solvent tank and get all that gunk cleaned up. Yeah, that's where we're at. Time to go look for parts. We got the motor disassembled as far as I'm going to take it. Got this box ready to go. I found a car repair shop that has a pressure wash cabinet, a hot tank, or whatever you want to call it. So all of those parts are going to go to the hot tank and get cleaned. Valves look kind of interesting. You can definitely see where there was gunk trapped between them. They're not, they're pretty worn, but we're gonna try them. They're definitely not bent. The way I check them is if you look at them this way and roll them, you can see the crud on the valve stem right here kind of out of whack, but the head itself, the face, stays level. It's very obvious if you do this with a bent valve, that valve just wobbles. So, got some parts coming for that. We've got the engine over here draining. We'll do some hand scrubbing on the crankcase and get the new sprocket put on, and wait for the parts to show up when we start putting the motor back together and maybe get it dropped back in the frame. Good thing I have the second one for reference. Forgetting how everything went.